What's up, YouTube? Dark Lord Diablos here, coming out a video discussing about Maxx. Now, I know a lot of people have done these videos in the past, but considering, my attempt at experimenting with a low rarity deck went kind of horrible, and due to a lot of stuff happening in my personal life, like one of the Savvy Bot Brigade breaking down all of a sudden, BB constantly asking for money to fund our Communist Party, and other things. I just been too busy to do a deck profile. Which is why I had a video of Elden Ring I posted a while ago. Go check that out if you want. Spoilers for one of the bosses, though, so that's an iffy or thing there. But I just decided to make some discussion videos to pad out the time until I'm able to make a deck, which I'm thinking about doing DDD because I like them when back in the Pendulum era. So, Maxx. To bring a branch discussion if you're new to the game, because apparently people who are new to the game do put comments on my video, I'll put it up on the screen and explain what it does. It is a level 2 Earth Insect monster, which you can discard to activate its effect like a hand trap. Well, it is a hand trap. And every time your opponent special summons a monster, you draw a card. This card was used back in the 2017 format quite a bit until it was banned. It was originally limited and then officially got banned. But when Master Duel came around, it had a similar ban list to the OCG, not quite like the OCG, and so it was at 3. And people have been using it all over the place. I will discuss the talking points of Maxx being unbanned and why it's healthy for the game, while I'll be talking also about the points of why it is bad, it needs to remain banned. Now, when I do this, at the end of the video, I will discuss my opinion on Maxx personally. So note, we're going to bring up the pros and cons, the pros of why it should remain at 3, and then we're going to put in the cons of why it should be at banned. Now, the pros, according to people, it helps with deck building ingenuity. I have something to say about this, which we'll get to when we go to my segment of the video, and it helps out with combo decks, particularly combo decks that like to put in a bunch of Omni-Negates on board, particularly like Boral Savage Dragon, Appaloosa, and a few others, to name a few, and I only know the 2 off the top of my head because I am a dumbass. Maxx will prevent them from going into heavy combos, like going up against Virtual World, and have your opponent think twice before summoning a lot of monsters on board, and allow you to draw cards. Either they take the L and build up their board, or B, they don't build up the board and they're passed a turn to allow you to take a turn. And not only that, it can be countered with Call by the Grave. Call by the Grave is a quick play spell card that you can activate to target a card in either player's graveyard, banish it, and if you do, no player can activate that card's effects, and its effects is negated. Which is a very good card, and it does counter Maxx. Also, Maxx can be countered with Ash Blossom, one of the most heavily played hand traps in the game. Now, note Ash Blossom's playability has been up and down depending on format. That must be made clear first. But I know for a fact in Master Duel it has seen heavy play. Now, another thing. People say that it doesn't really do well for most meta decks. Eldritch barely special summons at all because they just sit on Skill Dream and bring out the Golden Lord. As far as I know, playing Master Duel, that's how I had to deal with it. So Maxx should be at 3. It should be healthy according to these pros. Now going on to the cons. And there's a lot of people that want this thing banned because, again, said combo decks, yeah, it doesn't only stop combo decks, but it also helps enable and ramp these combo decks up. It's a degenerate play when you play that and instantly go into more negates. A lot of people have a hard time dealing with this card. Particularly one criticism I have for the card is if you have to play 3 Maxx, your deck wasn't really that good to begin with. Which, is debatable. I mean, yeah, if it has to have Maxx C to be good, then it is debatable. Which again, that goes back into a pro of it. It makes old decks better, which again is debatable because in Master Duel, Upstart Goblins at 3, Into the Voids at 3, Chicken Games at 3, we have a lot of draw power in this game than Maxx C. So again, it's really debatable on that statement. And apparently, a lot of people have been really annoyed by Maxx C's presence. Now, with this conflicting view on Maxx C as a whole for Master Duel, people wanting to come back in the TCG because OCG, has it unbanned. And I will make another video of me talking about the differences between the OCG ban list and the TCG ban list and why we have them and why I think having them merged now is kind of a bad idea, and I'll explain that in a different video. But we should not take the results of the OCG ban list and say, yeah, that's good for our game. One of the major reasons, which I will discuss in said video, is we have a different card pool than the OCG. We usually get our own custom cards of variety of archetypes each and every set. Now, I know not every TCG archetype is meta. Look at War Rocks as an example. But once in a while we get something like Burning Abyss, the Kaiju archetype, or something along those lines, or a stupid engine like Danger, which the OCG does not get until later. Same thing with the OCG. They get some cards before us, which makes it very difficult to have the same ban list at the same time. But again, we'll talk about that in this other video. Moving on to my opinion on Maxx C. And this is going to be surprising or not surprising, depending if you know me or not. I honestly believe that Maxx C in the game would be beneficial, but not at 3. I think 3 is way too much. As a point taken, it does enable combo decks to go even harder depending on the situation. But Maxx C does help weaker decks go into the game. These are both valid points, and very valid points indeed. But in order to balance out that scenario, I believe Maxx C should be at 1. As I pointed out for the pros, Maxx C can be countered with Ash Blossom and Called by the Grave. Two of the most heavily played cards. Called by the Grave can be used for more than just countering hand traps. Trust me on that. I've been in so many duels where I activate Effect of the Graveyard and someone activates Called by the Grave and fucks me over. Now, I would really wish Called by the Grave would go back to 3 or go back to 2, at least to 2 in the TCG, but we only have it at 1 in the TCG. Because of this, I believe that if Maxx C were to come back into the game, it would be probably better to be at 1. That way it's easily able to be countered when necessary if you're able to pull it off. That way it doesn't overbreak the game like it has been in Master Duel. Now, of course, people may agree with me and says, no, it doesn't need to come back to the game ever, at all, in any particular way whatsoever. Well, that is true, but we're also dealing with the Venture archetype now, apparently, in the TCG, which I don't know how that's going to go, because I've been more playing Master Duel as my main source of Yu-Gi-Oh! Lately, and I don't really know how the Adventure archetype works. So, I'm just going from my opinion during the last format due to Burst of Destiny format. Before then, and I believe, at least at that time, Maxx C could come back at 1. As my honest opinion. And that's all I have to say for, this particular topic. I'm sorry if you're hearing traffic outside. Nothing I can really do about that until later. And I hope to catch you next time. If you like this video, subscribe. If not, you don't have to. Please leave a like or a dislike down below, and I'll catch you next time. Ciao.